I was beginning to acquire some slight tinges of admiration for Neph because he recently has had the balls to talk to some high-profile evolutionist stroke atheists. I say talk because Neph is totally incapable of debate. Then I became aware of this video on missing giants. Sorry Neph, back to square one.
This little video is about how evolutionists love to hide the truth from the world and how they do everything possible to discredit the truth of the Bible.
Well, it does a great job of discrediting itself.
Or may not have heard about how giants once lived in this world and how they were wicked and where they came from and the terrible things they did to this world, and the effects are still being felt to this day.
Yeah, Hitler and Pol Pot were at least 15 foot tall.
Lots of giant men have been dug up out of this earth then, but
dug up by who? Why don't some creationists do some digging? Dug from the earth. I hope you don't refer to these as fossils later on.
Seems like every time that happens, the Smithsonian Institute or National Geographic Society has representatives that pop on the scene and either buy or borrow, and they're never seen again, these evidence, these remains of giant human beings. Well, some have been found and gotten in the hands of creationists first, like the footprints at Biloxi, Texas, and other places. There's a few other places.
Oh wait, some have been found by creationists? At Biloxi? A classic proven creationist hoax, by the way. So no excuse. And these have not actually been sent to a museum. I wonder why. Could it be something to do with the logistics of moving a whole ancient riverbed into a museum?
If it's in the Bible, they've got to refute it. That's why they once said Hittites never exist. Said the same thing about King David. Same thing happened with Pontius Pilate. The atheist said, oh, Pontius Pilate and Jesus Christ both are fallacy.
No, there are plenty of things in the Bible that are true, but it doesn't make it all true, just as in Harry Potter. Yes, there is such a place as London, and things as double-decker buses. There is such a place as Egypt, Jericho, Israel, Jerusalem, Bethlehem, etc. That's one huge whopper there, Neph. I got my mum's 1930 encyclopedias, and they talk about David, Pontius Pilate, and the Hittites as actual people, and Jesus, of course. Nobody, Christian or not, has ever disputed the existence of these people. Don't lie, it's not nice. Even contemporary documents, you know, the things that the Bible doesn't have, negate the need for archaeology to prove the existence of these people.
Anyway, I sent an email off because I had done some research.
Research? Oh, nah, this'll be good.
I sent an email off to a museum which had at one time housed some of these giants found in Native America, which were huge men, red-haired, supposedly, 10, 12-foot men.
10 or 12-foot men? And I believe that each skeleton was found with a basketball, but don't quote me on that. Red-haired giants in America? Bloody hell, jocks get everywhere. The Native Americans obviously had a beer festival on at the time, and possibly could have been the first suppliers of the package holiday. And how do you know the skeletons had red hair anyway? Anyhow, if we're to believe North American folklore, and in reality probably based upon the Norsemen of much bigger build than Native Americans, such as Eric the Red, who we know arrived in America way before Columbus, then we're obliged to believe ancient Greek folklore as well, and hence claim that centaurs, minotaurs, hydras, etc. actually existed. Mind you, all the remains of such creatures have been hidden by young Earth creationists, obviously. I know that for a fact because I've never seen any. Says he, using young Earth creationist logic.
And I sent an email asking them why, since their museum had these fossils at one time, where are they now, and can a photograph be found of them? Can they provide me with any kind of a photograph of them? And this was the response I got. I went by the name Matthew.
Matthew? Oh dear, Neph, that's another lie. Shh, don't let Ray comfort now.
Dear Matthew, the Nevada Historical Society in Reno supposedly had...
Exactly, supposedly.
...a human skeleton from a population of mythical, and he calls them mythical already. You see how he's trying to discredit. Red-headed giant cannibals, the Seduca.
Ah yes, they all migrated to Japan and invented the popular logic game. and I believe that one branch actually stayed behind, with the sole surviving member being singer-songwriter Neil Sedaka.
The skeleton was loaned for display at the St. Louis World's Fair and was never returned, or so the story goes. I don't know if any photographs or documentary evidence of this skeleton exists. It is an oral tradition.
Oral tradition? Bit like the Bible, until it was actually written down centuries after so-called events.
Now listen, let's go through this email of his real quick and see the hegemony that you'll find in...
Hegemony? 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 Hogmanay, Hogmanay, yes, of course, it was the jocks after all.
Okay, he says, purportedly...
You do know the meaning of purportedly, don't you?
Had a human skeleton from a population of mythical red-headed giants, cannibals. The skeleton was loaned for display and never returned, blah, blah, blah. So the story goes. No documentary evidence. It's an oral tradition. See how he's trying... It's fake. Never happened. We never had it. Didn't exist. Shut up, go away. Forget about it. It was a lie. Somebody told you a lie. Never happened. It's a lie. Don't believe it.
Neph, that's no way to treat poor old Sharon.
Any museum which has evidence in anthropology, skeletons of any kind, they make a record of it, you see, for insurance purposes.
They would also make a record of every transfer in and out and within. Oddly enough, Neph, you cannot have a transaction of nothing, and no transaction means no record.
So he's claiming that they once had it, and now they don't even have a record of it. There's no paper trail.
He made no such claim. He said, purportedly. Remember?
It was probably loaned to the Smithsonian Institute or the National Geographic Society, and they never returned it.
Probably? Ah, yes. A key word that is a major foundation of all creation science, alongside the phrases could have and might have.
But now he says they don't have any record of it. Yeah, we once had it, but we don't have any record of it.
Hasn't it occurred to you why he has no record? You cannot have a record of something that never existed in the first place. You know, this sounds rather familiar. Hey, Saddam, where's your weapons of mass destruction?
Shuck a God, I don't have any.
Yeah, I know that, Saddam, but where are they?
I told you, Shuck a God, I don't have any. You are welcome to look.
We've already done a thorough research, both on the ground and by satellite, haven't we, ladies and gentlemen? And still can't find them. Neither can Gat. So where are they, Saddam?
You can't find them, 'cause I don't have any.
Okay, Saddam, I've lost patience, and I'm gonna zap you and your country in one of my war games and upload it to my YouTube channel. Apologies for the crap American accent, but it's payback time for that terrible Dick Van Dyke accent in Maury Poppins.
No records.
So we don't keep records of nothing we got. Why would we keep records and paperwork on anything? We throw it all in a box and forget about it.
Well, I never realized that Barney Rubble worked in a museum.
Every evolutionist scientist in the world will bury, hide for good, burn, destroy, bake, cook, throw away, toss, shoot to the moon.
Shoot to the moon? Ah, that old hydroplate theory again. Now listen, Neph, if the discoverers were real scientists, and if they wanted to hide the evidence, then surely they would have destroyed it at source, even before it got to within a sniff of the museum. In reality, no sane scientist would destroy something that is a ticket for fame, immortality, and a Nobel Prize. If the discoverers were creation scientists, yeah, I know, fat chance of them actually getting off their arses into the field, then there is no excuse for the skeletons going AWOL. So either way, nobody is going to allow any such discovery to go missing.
Whatever evidence that supports anything in the Bible that they can, it will disappear forever. Evolution is lies.
We have a man here who doesn't know the difference between evolution and archaeology. The same man that doesn't know the difference between dark matter and antimatter. Nice one, son. Now, you claim that the museum had such skeletons in their possession, and it is they who have destroyed or hidden them, or pass them on for the same fate. However, if you had truly done some research, as you claim, then the very first thing is to ascertain what happened before they got to the museum. Here is what I would do for each so-called discovery. I would locate the people who actually excavated the bones. I would ask them for copies of the photos that they inevitably would have taken. I would have asked them where and when the remains went, be it the Smithsonian Institute, National Geographic Society, or museum, or whatever, and asked to see the documentation of the exchange. Having done that, then and only then would I be in a position to contact the recipient, in this case the museum, and specifically the person whose signature is on the receipt, and then and only then demand to know the whereabouts of the bones. But that's the trouble, Neph. No giants equals no paper trail of giants. That's one giant cock-up on your so-called research.
And besides, why do I get the feeling that these pictures are all hoaxes, be they with dishonest or humorous intent? If you want to carry out some genuine research, then the onus is on you to find out.
If you believe what you're told about evolution, you're believing people who package lies and disseminate them as the truth, and who work as hard as they possibly can, whittle their little fingers to the bone, to try to discredit anything that is mentioned in the Bible. Anything.
That's just not true. In the beginning, I like that. It's just the rest of it that I have a problem with. We don't have to work hard. The Bible does all the work for us.